Hello, everyone. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to part two of our lighting webinar in the 2021 staging of the Cesco Technology Roadshow. Today, your host will be Randy Chambers.
Good morning, Tracy. Thank you very much for that introduction. Morning, colleagues. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I want to say special thank you to the participants of our webinar last week. There has been a huge excitement on the TBar LED solution, and we thought we would launch a part two and invite JLC Tech to go into a little more detail. So we have Silvio from JLC Tech this morning with us, and we're going to move right into the presentation. Thank you and good morning. Over to you, Silvio. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you everyone. And you can hear me, right, Randall? Okay, so thank you, and thanks everyone for having me again. You know, this is exciting. I feel like I'm in Jamaica, but I wish I would be there physically. So we're going to go and talk more. I hear there has been more interest in the TBar LED. So this presentation I have put together for you, it goes a little bit more deep into some details of the product. And I will show you more images, the capability of JLC Tech, and so on. So some of the slides, you know, I may repeat, like this one here, for example, that just to tell you, JLC Tech, again, was founded in 2010. It's a family-owned company. It's me, my wife, the one on the left, and then the three daughters actually give the name to the company. So JLC actually stands for our three daughters, Jade, Luna, and Cassia. I have been in the lighting industry for many years now. I stopped counting them. I was working for a European lighting company in the past. And in 2010, I started JLC Tech. So you can go next. As I said, we opened production in 2012. That's when we moved from my house, from my garage. We moved to a facility, and we basically, since 2012, we keep expanding. And today we have about, I think it's like 5,000 square feet of space, but we have been, as you see from the numbers here in the slide, we have been growing constantly every year. And last year we closed the year where we built about 130,000 feet of product, and we have about 35 employees here in south of Boston. So the technology, how the idea was developed, right? I mean, it's an idea that I had in 2010. I basically always been fascinated by LED. I was in the lighting industry before LED came along, and when LED came along, basically kind of changed the whole lighting industry, really. I mean, the lighting industry was an electromechanic industry before. With LED became an electronics industry, so that made a lot of stress on a lot of factories. Nevertheless, what lighting companies were doing with LED, and still today, lots of them do that. They are basically integrating the technology into an existing form factor. So you have a round down light here, or a square 2x2, or a 2x4 troffer, and you put LED in it just to make it with the new technology. So if you think about it, it's a very small light emitting diode that now you put into a big metal box, which kind of silly. So with that in mind, with the next slide, I'll show you. I basically started to think about that. This was a little silly. I said, it's like using a smartphone, an old disc phone, like a smartphone. So and here you see a funny picture. Can you believe it? Like sending an email with an old phone. That was my statement at the beginning. Again, the next slide. So I kind of looked into how we could integrate light into an architectural element of the building that was already there. So this light form was so small that I wanted to see how we could hide it into the building without adding any material to the building. So I started to look at grid ceiling systems, and I developed this idea of creating a light fixture. As you see on your left here, the red line is basically the section of a cross T of a ceiling, of a typical suspended grid ceiling. So I designed a product, and I created all the heat dissipation surfaces that I needed for the LED light, and then I created this light fixture out of this element of the grid ceiling. Of course, when I did that, I realized that I was in grid ceiling now, so I was touching another kind of sector. So I decided to partner with a ceiling company, very well known, as you heard. Armstrong Ceiling is a very well known ceiling company in North America, but actually internationally. And I showed them what I came out with. I showed them my idea, and together we fine-tuned the development of this product. We actually tested it. We seismically tested it with their grid ceiling systems, and we really certified the only, in the world, really. I mean, this is the only product in the world that is certified, tested to be part of the ceiling assembly, and we still have that today. Next slide. Of course, I'm going to introduce you to product solutions. So again, TBar LED was developed around this concept to be a cross T, 2 foot and 4 foot, 5 foot cross T's of the ceiling assembly. You go to the next. Just to make sure you understand the innovation around this, basically, I want to take you to how a conventional linear lighting product will be installed in a grid ceiling system. Basically, as you see in this image on the left, ceiling contractor, they have to create a slot into the ceiling. So normally, when you have a typical linear downlight, the ceiling contractor will have to create a slot. So create the ceiling, build the ceiling accordingly to accept the linear lighting product. And then sometimes, depending on the length, they have to put these U-shaped brackets to hold everything together. So there is a lot of labor from a ceiling contractor point of view to actually put a linear lighting product into a grid ceiling. Next slide will show you with our product, we basically have this product that integrates with the ceiling. So we offer 2 mounting systems. One is the Armstrong compatible clip, which is basically the same of the Armstrong clip-on system. So they snap into the ceiling very easy. You don't need any tools. You don't need anything. And on the other hand, we have a universal compatible clip, which is basically a clip that will go with any other type of ceiling. Because of course, as Armstrong, it's a very large company, and we love working with them. But we have to recognize that there are other companies out there. So we also designed a universal clip that would still allow you to integrate and replace cross T's with our TBar LED lighted one. Next slide. So here you see, going back to the image where you have to build the ceiling, with our TBar LED, you basically don't have to do that. We offer 2 foot, 4 foot, other lengths are available as well. We also offer what we call a 4L fixture, which is the purple one that allowed you to do corners of light, because it's basically a 4 foot light with a 2 foot of light integrated in it. So it allowed you to do those corner of light. And this is all basically, ceiling contractors don't have to do anything different. Imagine they are building up the ceiling with cross T's, and they have light fixtures already installed, because for a ceiling contractor point of view, this is the exact same process of building the ceiling. So no customization, no adaptation of the ceiling. And this is the result. As you see, this is, I always like to say when I see this picture, if you were to turn off the light here in this picture, you actually don't even see the light fixture installed. They blend with the ceiling. It's like this ceiling has no light fixture. And I'll go to the next. Of course, many benefits of doing this. Imagine, for example, no plenum occupancy, meaning that our light fixture, the TBar LED, only take the height of the cross T into the ceiling. So you can run air duct, you can run all kind of utilities in the system, and the light fixture will never be in the middle, will never be, you know, in your way when you know, run other architectural utilities in the system. Not just that, but even in the surrounding of the fixture, so in the actual ceiling, as you see in this picture, you always, you know, you can end up with a crowded utilities in the ceiling, like, you know, sprinklers, speakers, air duct, cameras, all kind of things sometimes goes in those ceilings. So if you also have to add the light fixture, of course, that will take space from those utilities. So again, in this picture is a clear image here that shows you that the TBar LED can actually go between things, you know, because it's taking the space of a crosstie. So you will have there a crosstie. In any case, might as well just have a light fixture that also is a crosstie. Of course, improved ceiling. No, I have not. I was going to touch. I'm going to touch base on all of them. So improved ceiling acoustic. Of course, you know, more tiles. So you are not taking tiles away to put a light fixture. That means more acoustical performance in your space. So that's another big thing. Reduce and save. Of course, you know, you are building the ceiling. You are putting up the light. There is a huge saving out there. The electrician now will have to just electrify the system, and you know, keep also in mind that, you know, a ceiling contractor costs much less per hour than an electrician. So if you have your fixture installed by a ceiling contractor, that will give a big saving to the owner or to the contractor, you know, depending on where those savings are going to end up being. But you know, there is a saving out there. Maximize versatility. Of course, you can move fixture easy. Everything comes with quick connectors, plug and plays, and you know, you can disconnect them, repurpose the space easily without too much disruption. Next slide, please. And this is just a case study that we did with an electrical contractor based out in San Francisco. They installed our product in a project, and we asked them to actually give us feedback of installation savings in comparison to a standard 2x2 LED light. And of course, you know, they listed their material cost. They do not include the products, but include things like metal conduit for line voltage, while with our product you have low voltage quick connector that don't require metal conduit, labor savings, you know, a lot of savings that at the end they came out with a good 48% of saving compared to a standard 2x2 light. Next slide, please. And here again, you see basically the product where it can be installed. The black lines that you see there, those are main runners, we call them. Those are basically the beams that hold the ceiling weight. Those are the ones that get connected to the slab above, so they hold the weight of the ceiling. We don't replace that with our product, but we replace all the crosses that are in between those those main runners. And again, you see here on the left, on the right, you see how, you know, with using the 4L model, you can create shapes in your room, and you can do all kinds of things. Next slide. This is a beautiful installation we did at a school in Arkansas. We have created these squares up on top of the ceilings using 4Ls and standard 2-foot or 4-foot crosstees. Again, you know, beautiful installation. The architect was very happy about it. Yeah, you can go to the next. Yeah. And of course, we offer a full range of optics for any kind of different model or different design that you want to do at your space. We have a diffusing lens. We have an asymmetric roll wash. We have an accent cutoff reflector in actually 2 models. We have a louver that we can apply. We have also an indirect fixture, the TBar Up, that basically, you know, give indirect light to the ceiling. We have 2 aesthetical acrylic block diffusers. One is clear, one is block frosted. So we really cover a wide range of options for as far as you know, product and so on. Here you see nice pictures of nice installations of using our clear block lens. So you see how nice that aesthetic look of the clear block that is just evenly lighting up the space. That's another beautiful installation. Some of you may have seen that before in other presentation. This is Houston Airport in Texas, Terminal C, which is the international terminal. This is a very tall ceiling. It's about 30 feet high ceiling. We worked out with Gensler here in this design, and there is a metal grid ceiling system up here, and you see our product was placed in a way that it gives this shape of light. Very, very beautiful installation. Again, another installation of a conference room. These are 8-foot tiles that are using 4 foot in the middle that we can install those things as well. This is another nice installation that I like with these are cut-off reflectors. You see, these desks that you see there, they have a lot of light, but you almost don't see the light coming out of the ceiling because, again, this is an accent light pointed down to where you need it. Into the next. Another nice installation. These are called ceiling clouds. These are 8x8 ceiling clouds, and provided by the ceiling manufacturer, of course. And we have basically installed these crosses of light, which are made with 1 4-foot and 2 2-foot fixture that intersect in the 4-foot. So again, think about it. What you see here, there is no adaptation of those ceiling clouds. I mean, if you would have to do this with a standard linear lighting product, there would be a lot of labor for the ceiling contractor. And this, the ceiling contractor, as far as is concerned, he installed the ceiling. He didn't even realize that he was installing light fixtures. So very, very nice, and everybody was very happy on this installation. That's a picture that is showing you our asymmetric wall wash. Again, you see the fixture is now shielded. It has a shield to throw the light back on the wall. You see that wall how it's evenly illuminated, which is a challenge for any wall wash lighting product. So this is a very nice effect, no scalloping, very smooth light on that wall. We offer a wide range of product. Also, we offer directional signage, so we can actually create acrylics that we can laser etch and do wayfindings for you. So that's another thing that we can do. We have a laser etching machine in house. We can do, logos or any kind of things. We have a multi-circuit fixture, which is our TBar 2, that has both. You see the picture in the center there, and the little details of that conference room. You can actually switch from the cutoff reflector to the diffusing lens to have dual effect on the same fixture. So you will have 2 switch to change on circuit and optics on the same fixture. We offer RGBW, of course, as well. That's actually been a very successful product for us. People that want to add some, aesthetical touch or kind of effect into their office or showroom or conference room, we offer the RGBW fixture too. This is an example of exactly that. The RGBW, that's a conference room of an electrical contractor, actually. They have worked with our product. They loved it so much that they used the clear block lens with the RGBW. And you actually see on the left and right of the RGBW square, you see a line of TBar up. So that's actually the indirect fixture. And at the very end, above the TV, you actually see the signage with the company logo of this electrician. So they really loved our product, you can tell. It was a very good installation. We offer, of course, you can go not just, so acoustical ceilings are one thing, just white normal tiles, but tiles come in many different options from the ceiling companies. You can choose, for example, wood tiles like we are showing you here. And when you select a wood tile, it's actually even more important to having not to modify the ceiling to accept light fixture. Imagine how it will be now to field modify the tiles. In this case, when you have some very expensive wood tiles, that you have to maybe even just drill a hole to put a round down light. I mean, that's a lot of work, and it could be very expensive to modify those tiles. So again, with our product, no modification at all. This is just putting tiles in. Our product is just taking the space of the cross T again. So very, very, very good in this one too. I will show you some images of that. For example, these are exactly that. These are normal standard grid ceiling system, 2x2, 2x4, but the tiles are vertical wood slats tiles. So you see the effect at the end. It do not even seem to be a 2x2 or 2x4 grid ceiling system, but it is. So the light fixture is now in this case recessed inside, and it shows you the very nice installation. I think we have another few. This is another picture that we are showing the same thing. It's a wood ceiling. Now this is is horizontal wood slats. So with the block length. So you see we can play around with different features. Next. Again, same thing. Vertical slats, different color of wood. So just to show you, a bit more. This is the MIT actually here in Boston. Next. We also can cover, I don't know if any of you is familiar with concealed grid, meaning that the tiles is now wrapping around the grid to hide the grid. So we can support those type of grid as well with a special TBar LED profile that actually come down below, as you see in the image lower left. Next. And this is actually an installation. You see the grid is almost hidden. You just see seams between the tiles. And again, our fixture come down. This is another very critical ceiling type to, if a ceiling contractor have to modify and adapt this for the light fixture, it's a very delicate ceiling to install. So again, the fact that with our product, we don't do any modification, it's a huge saving here. Next. Again, another picture. This is actually a nice installation. This is at a venue where they do weddings, as you see. So interesting. So it's not just office and commercial, apparently. Next. This is another type of ceiling that Armstrong came out recently. You may have seen this because I know that Armstrong is actively promoting this ceiling in North America and the Caribbean. So this is TBar, so the ceiling is called Design Flex by Armstrong, and they have different shape of tiles. So instead of being square or rectangle, they do triangles and all kind of different shapes. So we worked with Armstrong to do the same thing, to replace cross T's, but this type of cross T is a little bit more particular. It has a different clip mounting system. So again, a very expensive ceiling that, the fact that we allow no modification when you put the light, it's a huge, huge saving. We have been very successful with this. Almost any specification that Armstrong received for this ceiling, the specifier will use our lights, because you can only imagine here putting a round down light in a ceiling like this, and doesn't make any sense. Next. And you see, an installation of this type of ceiling, again, triangles there, tiles, very expensive ceiling from Armstrong. And we basically, again, do the same thing, replace this custom now special cross T's with a lighted one. Next. Another beautiful conference room. I love this picture. It's very, very high-end. See how clean and modern look. And again, done with the TBar Flex. That's the name of the product. Technical support. So I want to take you through our capabilities. We have internal capabilities of, we can support mechanical layouts, we can support lighting layouts. So you just bring us the project that you want us to work with, and we can actually walk you through of how how to lay it out the fixture. We can do light calculation for you. We can do a lot of things from our technical support team. We can do layouts review, quotations, of course, general mechanical questions, and of course we can guide you through the ordering process. Here in the image that you see, for example, one of the things we do, we receive, for example, a drawing of the space with an RCP, with a reflected ceiling plan from you guys, and then we can draw the main runners. So, and the fixture, blue and different colors for different models, 2 foot, 4 foot. Then you can give this to the ceiling contractor. When he will put the ceiling up, he's going to just follow, the colors, and it will just be a straightforward thing. We also mark changes if they need to be done. We can say, look, move this 4 foot here and there to allow the main runner to go by. And we can do this also on retrofit, of course. If you have an existing ceiling, then we will ask you where you have the main runners. We can detect where the main runners are, and then we will work around reverse engineering, of course. Next. This is a typical lighting layout. So you see here, this is a real from design to actually realization of the project. You see, the wood ceiling right there in the center of the drawing. We did all the light calculation of those little numbers that you see on the drawing on your left are basically foot candle levels of the light. And if you work with lux, we can of course also do it in lux levels. That's not a problem. And then on the right side, you see the actual work that was done with this installation. This is a law office down in Kansas. Again, another example of a real installation, a very big space. Here you see all different type of fixtures are installed, 4 foot, 2 foot. And the light calculation that we did at the time is on the left. And then of course on the right, the end result of the project. Another example, this is TBar Flex now on design flex ceiling, the triangle and shape that we saw before. Again, the architect created these lines of light, and we put them on a mechanical layout for them, and then we ran the light calculation with the different light hotspot that were there, and that's the final result on the right. We have, of course, HPDC member. We are HPDC member, so we recycle. We are part of the WELL standards. All the information. If you help on your project, we can provide all the documentation for this. We have a series of network of sales agency in North America, but the next one I will actually more interested for you. The next slide, which will show you the international coverage that we have in the Americas. Of course, we have the Caribbean covered by Cesco Limited, and all other offices across the Central and South America. We have more range of products. So most of what you have seen is actually part of the TBar LED. So if you go on our website, you will see each one of them. We created a range of different product solutions related to our technology of replacing the cross T with a light fixture. That's our main technology, but we have created a range of product around that. So TBar LED is our flagship architectural line that you have seen most of the slide that I presented to you. TBar Flex is also the one that you see with shapes and everything. Gemini is something we introduced this year. Gemini is same thing. We replaced cross T's, but Gemini is a 4-inch wide fixture. So we have done it a little different. We have Gemini hypothetically actually can replace, in its design, replace 3 cross T's. So again, if you go back to the slide that I show you that the, no, don't worry, it's too much back. But if we can stay on that slide. If you go back with your mind, on the slide where we were creating the slot into the ceiling for a linear downlight, well, Gemini actually It's a 4-inch, so it is wider than the grid size, as you see, but it actually has the left and right cross tees already included in its design. So you don't have to create that slot. That actually is a product that comes with that design. It's a really, really fantastic new invention from us. TBar Eco at the end on the left is our economy line. So TBar Eco allowed you, when you have a low budget project, or you have a retrofit, you don't have money there for the architectural lines or whatever. So we have created this model, which is a basic entry-level price point that will give you a very good light coverage. Is a made in US product, so no overseas or anything. It's just a made in US, but it's just basic to with an extruded lens to give you just a general illumination. And of course, POE, I see actually a message that is asking for that. Thank you. So POE, we can offer you any of our product line in POE. So POE is power over Ethernet. You can go on our website and see the details of that. Of course, we don't provide the whole system of POE. POE is a very complex system that allowed you to control your building through the Ethernet cable, and you can control shades, cameras, all kind of things in the building. So we can offer the light fixture that actually connect to those POE systems. You just need to know what POE system you're using. On our website, we listed 2 or 3, I believe, that we are already have done business together, so we know we are compatible easily. However, we had no problem of actually looking at other POE system you may use in a project, and we can adapt our fixture to work with those systems.
Silvio, would this be a building management system? Would it tie in with that?
Correct, yeah. POE, power over Ethernet, usually, POE is just the term to say that the power to the fixture, in our case, goes through the RJ45, which is the Ethernet cable. Reality is that, there is a more broad information to say. Usually those POE systems are there because you have a management building, you have something more complex. That's why I was saying we can definitely adapt our product. We offer POE to adapt our product to tie into those systems. We just need to know what are those systems. I believe a few of the ones that we listed on our website. One is Molix. It's called I don't remember now how it's called, but one is the Molix system, and another one is Igor system. So both of them are pretty good, and we have done installation with both of them, but we are basically open to look at others, that you may have in your project. We go to the next, I think. We offer, of course, we are present in social media, and we invite you to follow us on Pinterest, social media. We also offer AIA courses. If you are interested on getting like credits, we offer that too. We have 2 courses that we have done in the last few years, and you can contact Cesco to organize something to that effect if you like. And this is now bringing to question and answer. This actually, the picture on the background is another beautiful installation we have here at Logan Airport in Boston. And it's at the Terminal B gates, American Airlines and United. And we have our fixture installed there. So that's another actually good example of how many utilities you have in the system. An airport has a lot of stuff, security, fire detectors, sprinklers, cameras, speakers, all kind of things, AC. So when we worked on this project with the project manager for this, he was astonished. He was very happy about, he didn't have to worry about where to place the lights because the lights were not in the middle. Okay, I'm open for questions.
Yeah. We had a few questions, Silvio. If they hadn't been answered as yet, we have Carol. You can go ahead and unmute.
I think you're unmuted now, Carol. You can go ahead.
I'm still seeing her hand raised there. There's another question that came in from.
If we can get her to type it in the chat box, just so we don't miss it.
Okay.
Please, Carol.
We're not hearing you, Carol. If you can type the question in the chat box. Another question came in on POE from Kelly.
So I see a question from William Sanders. He's asking, any plans to create similar product for drywall ceiling system? Good, William.
Good morning.
So in the past years, we always kind of stayed a little bit away from drywall because GLC Tech was we built this technology of replacing cross ties, so for many years we kind of stayed with this technology. However, we do have plans to actually introduce the same technology into drywall ceiling, and we have already prototypes, samples made, presented to our sales team. We are planning to do an official launch for this by end of this year, early next year. It's basically, we have created an aluminum housing, if you want, that will be installed with the drywall, and you will be able to clip on the same product, so the same look of the product. So if you have situations where the grid ceiling transition into a drywall, and also reverse, of course, then you will be able to actually use the same look, same product. You can just simply snap it in. So yes, we will have that soon. Not yet available, but soon will be.
I believe someone else was trying to speak. Was it Kelly or Carol got through?
He did send Adrian saying that the question was answered. That's from Kelly. I don't know if Carl had another question. I'm not seeing it come through as yet. Feel free to send in any questions that we can get answered, colleagues.
In the meantime, when I can touch base, I know even if I don't see the question, but I'll ask and answer myself. What's the price point? We have talked about that. So we have, today, after 10 years that we have been in business, we actually have developed products to pretty much cover all price points, really. We go from, talking about, I'm going to give you a price point per foot so that you understand a little bit, because, we have 2 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, and so on. But let's say in general, a price point per foot. So we go from a minimum of about $25, $30 per foot. Actually, I would say, within the 25 range dollar per foot with our TBar Eco lines to, up to $70, $80 per foot, depending on what type of models and lenses we are choosing. And of course, another thing that is good to know is that we normally quote by project. So, Cesco will have maybe a rough price list, but in reality, we like to work per project. Eventually, we like to know what is your timeline, what is your budget if you need to meet one. But let's say that I always like to say that we care more about the success of our technology, and we want you to use it, than necessarily making money here, really. So we love the product. We want you to use it. You will see the benefit and you will repeat it. Is there another question? Michael has a question, I think. These lights come in a variety of voltage. Yes, so we offer most of our product lines, all the TBar LED product lines that you saw are 24 volt DC with a remote driver. And the remote driver, we offer 3 sizes of this remote driver. We offer a 100 watt driver that can run up to 12 linear feet of product. But we offer 200 watt driver that can run up to 24 linear feet of product. Or we offer a 400 watt driver that can run up to 48 feet of product. So we have this range of drivers to cover our 24 volt line, which is the TBar LED and a few others. We also have line voltage products like TBar Flex, for example, is a line voltage product. Gemini is a line voltage product. And of course, they're all within the universal range from 100 to 277 volt. So there's no need to specify the voltage, everything is universal.
Yeah, Randy, just checking, is this product available in Jamaica any at all at this present time? And number 2, the presenter made mention of the fact that they recycle. Could he emphasize a little more on that for me, please? Thank you.
Yep. So I can answer the question for Cesco. Yes, the product is available through Cesco. So send all your inquiry to Cesco. I will work with them. Again, doing mechanical layouts, lighting layouts, whatever you may need. I can work on a quote with them, and of course, they are the one that will act as a distributor for the area. As far as recycle, we basically have a recycle program. I can send you more details in that. I'm actually that's more of my marketing people's subject, but we basically have worked with our vendors to make sure that they have recycle programs in place, send notification to us about material that they have used. So we have that document that I show with you. You can actually download it from our website, and it's it's basically a certification that we achieved through the member of that HSEM, whatever that was. But I'm less knowledgeable on that because it's all our marketing and production team that are working together to do that. So I can send more information if you like on that. I know it's something related with our vendors and making sure that they to make our product they use recycle and all the process.
We have a question about how is it affected by low voltage?
Sorry, say that again?
We have a question, how is it affected by low voltage? So we have an issue sometimes where the utility power is, you would call it a bit dirty.
Yeah.
How does that affect the TBar fixture?
It stays within the range, of course, of the drivers, which is 100, I think is 100. Yes, it is 100 volt to 277. Then, of course, the driver will adapt it, and there is no issue on that. If it goes lower, the drivers, they do have a little bit of tolerance, but after that, they temporarily turn off. They have like a shut-off saving if you exceed the specification of the driver. So we use a driver that is actually customized for us, and I'm pretty confident that we should be fine with any unless it's like I said, nothing is going to prevent the system to work, like ruin the system if you want to, because the driver itself has shut-off saving. So eventually, in the worst case, you will lights will go off because it's exceeding the voltage allowance if you want, but then they will go back when everything come back.
Question for me again.
Yes.
For example, Randy, is there any place here in Jamaica that it has been used? Because oftentimes when you approach property owners with these new products, they want to have a visual, whether the physical product itself to see and feel, or a property where it has been used so they can go and have a look at it. Is there anywhere in Jamaica that this product has been used, and is there physical product at Cesco that one could come and see at this time?
Yes, Michael. We have, Adrian could touch on a little about other projects, but we have it installed here at our offices. We have a conference room here with it installed. I believe there's a project in New Kingston, Adrian. I don't know. You probably can touch a bit on that.
Yes, thank you for the question, Michael. That project we have with the client is not actually complete yet, but we have sold them fixtures. We worked with them on the design, sold them fixtures. We also have the product installed as a display at the local Armstrong dealers, which is True Finishes, their new office on, on Maxfield Avenue. So we have acrylic signage, and we have the TBar lighting, and we also have acrylic signage at Cesco, and we do have a few in hand that we can actually see physically for those persons who want to.
And Adrian, did I ever send you sample cases? I don't remember that, because
that's correct. Thank you for that, Sylvia. We also have a sample case that covers all the different applications, and it has a driver, so we can actually plug it in and you can hold it in your hand and feel it. We have a dimmer switch with it. So we do have that in hand as well for clients who want to see.
Yeah, and of course, we always can send samples down. Like if you want to see specifically something particular, not a problem. Of course, we can send you samples, more samples if you need it.
Well, Adrian, a client of yours and mine is opening a new office in Ocho Rios, so we're in the design phase. So I guess we need to talk about that.
Thank you, Michael. We can touch base later. Thank you. I see a very interesting question here, Silvio, about how does 3 2-foot TBar LED lights compare to recessed traffer complete with 3 LED tubes in terms of cost? I think that's a good question that would help clear up some of it.
Let me get first this question from Barry. I think it was there. It's been there since a while on the chat, I see. Then we'll go to this question. It says, thanks for providing information about price and approximately how long it will take to install 2,400 square foot ceiling. So to make the product for that amount, for us, it's probably 2-3 weeks we can send it out. To install is really the time of installation of a grid ceiling system, and then the wiring, the electrician, he's going to wire the power supply, and then it will go with low voltage cable on each product. Each product is provided with quick connector. So really, I would say almost the time to install the ceiling, to install our product. And as far as us providing the products, if maybe that was the question, we just completed a project, actually. I was looking at my notes here. We just completed a project where we completed a 40,000 square feet space, and we delivered all the product in 5 weeks. So we can be pretty quick with our factory. So let's go back to that question, Adrian. You were asking me what?
How does 3 2-foot TBar LED lights compare with a recessed traffer complete with 3 LED tubes in terms of cost?
Yeah, so now the 2x2, the LED tube, or 2x4 troffers, of course, we all know that they touch the bottom, and you can get them to Home Depot, for like minimum cost. And that's why we developed the low-cost line of TBar Eco. So if you take our low-cost line, TBar Eco, you can actually almost be in line of a 2x2 or a 2x4 troffer with, with a TBar Eco 4-foot, for example. So a TBar Eco 4-foot will probably give you the same amount of light of a 2x4 low-cost troffer, and cost-wise, we're very close. So
I think that's very important that we clarify, Silvio, because it takes 1 2-foot T-bar to replace a 2x2 troffer. Am I correct in saying that?
that is correct. Yeah,
Okay.
depending on the lens model, I would say. But if we look at TBar Eco, the TBar Eco is actually a high efficient product, not just a low cost, but a high efficient product. So yes, the TBar Eco will give you, with a 2x2, you can have a 2-foot TBar Eco that will give you the same amount of light. Of course, depends what 2x2 you're looking at, depends what, where. But I would say, I'm confident to say that if you look at a low cost, 2x2 flat panel, a 2-foot TBar Eco will give you the same amount of light, and it's kind of close in price wise, depending again, the specific, but yeah.
We have a question, Silvio, which we did answer by typing, recommending surge devices to be installed on the load panel of the project. However, you were speaking about the driver having a fail-safe or feature that will turn off if there is a spike in voltage. Could you say a bit more as to that? What level of surge or increase in voltage the driver won't be affected?
Yeah, let me see. I have to go on our website and look at the spec of our product and see if I. What is the voltage again in Jamaica that you have?
Standard would be 220 for commercial. We do have cases where an office may have 110 to the lights.
Yep.
Well, Silvio is looking up that info just to assure everyone that the questions that come through, we'll be making contact.
Yeah.
With you.
Well, I'm going to direct you to, we have our spec on the website that is rating that if, so at a 230 volt, for example, you can go lower 8%, 11% max. It's yeah, I'm gonna get back to you on that. I don't know how to read exactly those numbers, but if you want me to look exactly, like if you're saying, okay, give me an example, okay, if you can put it in an email for me, Adrian, give me that example. I'll run it by our technicians, and I'll give you the specific answer. I don't like to wander around the answer without giving you exactly what you're looking for.
I went ahead and gave Kevin permission to speak. Kevin, I don't know if you wanted to share a bit more on the question.
Good morning, Ronnie and Sylvia and participants. The question I had that I put in the chat, and I see William was, I think, alluding to the same question. You had mentioned, Silvio, that the multi-voltage input, which is great. You spoke, I think, about an overvoltage cutoff protection with the device. Does it also have an undervoltage safety cutout if the voltage dipped below 100 volts?
Again, Kevin, but I believe so, but I want to make sure, these data are not really in front of me right now, so I don't want to tell you something. I can tell you that if the voltage goes down, again, the system will not be, it's not that the driver will fail and you have to replace the driver. So I know there is a protection there. I don't know what the protection will kick in, and I want to make sure. I will get back to Adrian on that, and he can share some more precise information with you guys.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that, Kevin. I'm not a mechanical engineer nor an electronic one. I designed the product, but I have others that are fine-tuned electronically.
One thing that I shared somewhere in the chat, I'm not finding it now, but normally for new projects, consultant would specify a surge device. We do stock these in from Eco. So like the TDX 200, TDX 100, it just depends on the size load panel that would be there to protect any incoming surge from the utility for not just LED lights, but any equipment in your project.
Yeah, that's a good point. I heard about those systems. Again, it's a little bit out of my specific knowledge, but eventually I heard that you could use something to prevent those spikes, right? Or to absorb those spikes before they go to the devices, any devices. Yeah, I can tell you another thing in my experience. I heard that I know that that's been always an issue in in Caribbean, but also Central America, South America has always been these voltage spikes. In my experience in the lighting industries, I kind of heard that in the last 10 years, drivers, transformers have improved to adapt to those situations, if you want. And I used to hear more of that being a big issue, like 20 years ago or so. But again, I'll give you some specifics. Any other questions, everybody?
It looks like we have covered it, Silvio and team, and all the participants. We want to thank everybody for joining, taking time out of our busy locked down schedule, if you like. And we want to thank Silvio very much for joining us again. And we look forward to working on many projects together.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Yeah, thank you, everyone who attended it. Yeah, it's always a pleasure to support Cesco and every one of you.
Good. Thank you. Have a good day, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining.